internet. It's time once again for Gaming with Max Von Puppet. That's me. Today, as you can see, we're looking at another role-playing game, Mutants and Masterminds, an old favorite of mine. This is a classic superhero RPG. Now, there's been a number of superhero RPGs over the years, ranging all the way back to good old-fashioned goodies like GURPS Superheroes or Villains and Vigilantes, through games like Champions, and even this one right here, Mutants and Masterminds. But this one happens to be one of my favorite ones. Well, let's get into the game itself. It uses the old D20 system that was created by Wizards of the Coast for their Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition system. But it's not a straight-up D20 game. What that means is, if you're familiar with the D20 system, as in any of you out there still playing Palladium, or even still playing 3rd edition or 3.5 edition of D&D, you'd be familiar with about half the game already. You're set. You're pretty much almost there. But there's some pretty major differences between this and regular Dungeons & Dragons. For example, Mutants and Masterminds does not use classes or races. Mutants and Masterminds has built your characters using a point-buy system. Which leads me into the next big change, which is levels. Mutants and Masterminds does use a level-based system for creating your characters, but it's not the same as in classic Dungeons & Dragons, where, you start off at first level, you gain experiences, you kill monsters and loot their caves, and then and go up in level as you get certain numbers of experience points. In this case, your level determines your starting pool of power points that you use to purchase your characters. So level is still used as a way to compare, comparative power levels to other characters in the game, including villains, but is mostly used as a way to determine starting character power points. These power points are then used to purchase everything in your character, from statistics to skills to feats. Yes, there's still feats in this game, and especially your superpowers. Yes, that's right. You use it to buy absolutely everything your character does in this game. But don't worry, it's not like you start off completely at zero and everything. You start off with a base 10 and all your stats, and you go up from there. If you want to go down, you can actually earn a couple of extra power points, and there's even a way to earn some more power points by taking a fatal weakness or flaw in your character, a la Superman's, weakness to kryptonite. That would allow him to get some extra bonus power points to buy some extra powers. Another major difference in this game is that it only uses a D20 dice. No other dice is used. In fact, you don't even need to use multiple D20s, you just need to use one D20 for the whole system. And I personally like that. It works out. It makes the system fast and cinematic and very comic booky, which is what you want when you're playing a comic book superhero game. And the last major difference is that no more hit points. No hit points at all. Damage is done via what's called a damage save. So here's how this works. When you're in combat and you roll your die to see if you hit somebody, you don't roll any dice for damage. What happens is the guy you've hit with your, fire blast or energy I-beams or batarang or whatever it is you're shooting them with. You hit the guy, and then he makes a damage save, or you get hit and you make a damage save. And if you make the save, no damage. Very comic booky, right? If you fail the save, however, you're now wounded. How badly wounded depends on how badly you failed the save. And it ranges, the effects of wounded ranges everything from cumulative -1s to dice rolls, all the way up to being knocked unconscious, and even death. Of course, this is a comic book role-playing game, so death does not need to be permanent. Really much like a regular D&D game, for that matter. And let me talk a little bit about the powers that are used in this game. I really love the power system. It's really open, it's really flexible, it allows you to create a large variety of powers of superhero characters with the powers in this system. You can create everything from a traditionally, quote, non-powered character like Batman or Captain America, to a guy who uses a lot of devices to do his things, like Iron Man or Hawkeye or Green Arrow, to characters, to more traditional superhero characters like Superman, or the Flash, or Wolverine, or somebody like that, or even my gold standard for superhero games, Green Lantern. That's right, this game would allow you to make a decent approximation of Green Lantern. It wouldn't be a perfect Green Lantern, but you could get pretty close with a basic starting character level. So let's go back to that character level bit for a minute. So remember I said earlier there's no levels, there's still levels per se, but it's not like a class level, it's called a power level. And power level gives you your starting power points. Well, the base power level in this game is 10. This still has the range of 1 to 20, just like standard D20 D&D does, it's like 3rd edition D&D does. But it starts you off at level 10. That's a basic level character, and that would be like when Superman first started out, or when Batman first put on the cowl, or at the very beginning of Wolverine's career, which, I suppose was probably 1,000 years ago, depending on which origin story you're reading. But anyway, it's really flexible. That PL10 that you start off, that power level 10 you start off at, is really flexible. Allows you to create a huge variety of characters. But you don't have to start with PL10. The game is pretty flexible. You could start, if you wanted to do a more street level campaign, like let's say you wanted to do something more like classic 1930s Mystery Man type game, where you have the fedora and a domino mask and a suit. You could start off at PL5, which gives you less points to spend on powers, but keeps everything a lot more street level, if that's what you wanted to go for. Or if you wanted to do a really epic, super powerful Justice League type superhero game, you could do that too. Just start everybody off at like level 15. And you get a lot more power points and have your characters that way. You'd have to face off against even more powerful enemies, but that's part of the fun of playing a group like the Justice League, right? And overall, it's a really great game. It's still available online. You can get it on drivethrurpg.com. There's a large variety of supplements to it, including an incredibly awesome setting for it called Freedom City. It's kind of a metropolis type of New York style East Coast city, which has its own Justice League type group in it. But you could easily modify the city to fit your needs. If you wanted your group to be the replacement for the Justice League, you could do that. It's a pretty great setting, and there's a whole slew of other supplements, including more powers and more adventures to play in besides the basic one that comes in this book. And it's a great game. I love it a lot, and I highly recommend going to check it out. It's probably one of the best superhero RPGs out there. Now, if you disagree with me on that, please feel free to comment below and let me know what you think is the best RPG out there for superheroes. If you agree with me, let me know. If you have something else you want to say, or maybe talk about one of your favorite superhero RPGs, comment below. And don't forget to like and click that ever-loving subscribe button. Until next time, Excelsior! Oh, I can't say that. That's copyrighted, huh? Until next time, keep playing games. Bye!